$6-7 a watt, guys. So they went with another company. I was running tons of appointments with my head, cut off like a chicken. I was going to homes that kicked me off. I was going to homes where no one was home. I was going to addresses, pins dropped in the street. We were making peanuts. Like, as a top performer, I made 73K one of my first year or twos at Solar City. They weren't paying much. And half of our jobs did not make it to install. They were disqualified. The roof, the electrical $7 grand. Sorry, we're not doing the job at all. No other option. Sorry. And I messed up on my first sale I did by myself. I couldn't answer the questions, what if a baseball hits it? What if hail hits it? And I didn't have the tools to answer that competently. And even I messed up my first sale, and I even had a dog bite me in one of the home appointments. So I just want to, share with you some of the challenges in my first year or two in the industry. And, very quickly, I started doing events. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and I did events. And here's Cynthia Alvidrez. I knew from my days at Verizon Wireless. One of the things I'm really good at is keeping my friends and family and bringing them into whatever opportunities, income opportunities, jobs I have, right? So Cynthia joined me at Solar City, and then Sunrun, and now Powur. And if I didn't keep in touch with these people and do events and do the chamber when it's hot, a lot of these things wouldn't have ever came to fruition. And so at Solar City Tesla, they forced me to go into Home Depots and stand there and talk to strangers, and I hated it. They forced me to knock some doors. I didn't hit my quota in January and February when it's slower. And after being the top person the year before, I got a final written warning that they were going to fire me. So I took a stress leave and then I quit. And that's the reality of a lot of us starting at Solar City Tesla. If you've worked at Solar City or Tesla, put in the chat, some of the OGs used to work there, right? That's how I met Paul Leone. And that's how I met so many other people. And it was hard, but they taught us a lot. And so in that failure, guys, in that rough time, in that shitty, low income, we're going to fire you, I didn't feel the blessing and the gift that it was giving me at that time. In loss, it's the heaviest. In stress, it's the heaviest, but you don't see the gift that's coming. And so when I look back, that gave me the ability to meet the Paul Leones and the top performers at Solar City. And that gave us some of the best training in the industry with Hayes Bernard and Travis Walker and the Elon cousins, right? But at the time, it was stressful and challenging, and it felt like turmoil. But if you realize, you look back at it, and it's a gift. And here, many of you maybe not know this, but Robin Mansell I met at an event, and we stayed in touch. She was my ambassador, my referral partner. She followed me from Solar City to Sunrun and then Powur. And she's like a network queen, and she's amazing. And then just a few years ago, she's like, Jonathan, you have to meet JC Rangel. And JC is under Robin, and Robin is under me, all because of those events and the networking and getting an ambassador. And her and I went to a coffee one morning to stay in touch, and she's amazing. And so through the struggles and through the events and through the getting the table up at 6 a.m. and the hot weather and the sun, and some events, nothing happens, no leads, no money, nothing closes. I just got a post on social media at that event, but it's all worth it, right? Like these challenges that come up. And always be recruiting, always be team building, sponsoring events like this one at the bowling alley with the Chamber of Commerce. I actually had recruiting fairs because at Sunrun, you got $1,500 spiff if you got someone hired. Yay, $1,500. I make $1,500 off of one of my guys' sales sometimes right now. And so back then I was like, well, let's put it on Meetup. Let's put it on Craigslist. Let's do an ad. Let's have other reps invite to it. Let's hold it at the Diamond Bar Center, and let's invite people that need a job. And I And I did that all for $1,500 spiff if you got someone hired. And you can even see Solar Lily. Maybe some of you know her. I knew her from Verizon Wireless. And then I told her, hey, I'm doing pretty good at this solar thing. You got to check it out. And so always staying in contact with the past people. And this guy, John, I got hired because I met him at my BNI. This guy, John, right here. So you just never know what's going to come out of the chamber and events and BNI and recruiting fair, guys. I remember when I was still at Sunrun and I was joining Powur and Bobby was bugging me every single day. I remember having a Powur explained at a pizza joint in Diamond Bar with 5 guys. My friend Jacob, the realtor, 1 or 2 solar pros, and like it was me and my laptop, and we were just hanging out. And because I knew doing those hard times, that was not even 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, right? I was there at a pizza place doing an event like that.
Hey, John, let me ask you a question before you go on. So a couple of things I hope people are hearing or getting from this, and some of you may not know this, and you may be brand new. It might be your first one on one of these. You know, I met Jonathan Brunasso on LinkedIn. Some of you know I do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn, some paid, some free. And I've been blessed to sponsor over 500 people on Facebook and LinkedIn and share them with the field. I don't have an organization in Powur. And Jonathan was one of those people that I was just connecting. So it didn't cost me a dime, right? I go on the LinkedIn, I type in Solar Pro Seeking, Solar Pro Looking, you know, California Solar Pros. I'm in all the groups. I connect with people. In case, again, any of you don't know, it's in your knowledge base. I do this when my wife is sleeping, my kids, it doesn't take away from my life. I do it on the elliptical, on hikes. It doesn't take it. So it was free. It's not taken away from anything in my life. And for 6 months, I was basically dripping on Jonathan Brunasso on LinkedIn to try and get his attention. And I didn't know what he was or what he wasn't. It just looked like a, you know, talented enough guy, you know. One question, Jonathan, we talk about all the time about the things that you do. Social media, you just showed those fairs and the tents. So we know there's an 80-20 rule in life and in business, right? And we're not perfect. So I can't get the field to do all these things. Some do, some don't. You have an organization that you manage. What do you think blocks the people who don't join BNI, who don't do those meetups, who don't do those calls? Well, why? And yet those are the same people who will probably say at some point, I can't afford my monthly fee. I'm not selling any solar. I'm not getting results that they want, but they're not willing to get out of their comfort zone to do the things you do. Why? And we don't rehearse this, right? It's just me and JB talking right now. Yeah. Why do you think they don't choose to do the things that you do?
Well, I actually have a few slides on everything you just hit, from the LinkedIn to the chamber and being nervous and self-limiting beliefs. You know, I heard about BNI a year before. My buddy's like, dude, just come. And like, I finally had to come myself. And I was nervous to speak in front of a room of professionals. And I think a lot of people have nervousness or just don't want to get out and get it, self-limiting beliefs. And when you look at the peoples like the David Ringos, the Eric Goldstein, the Mike Rosenfelds, all the guys that are in BNI and taking leadership, they are crushing it. 6 figures income from those activities. And I think more and more people are seeing it, but yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why people just don't get out and just do it.
Let me know when you figure it out. Folks, this is what I want you to think about, though. This is supposed to be David Ringo in Florida. Remember, this is a guy who's done thousands of installations in Florida. He's won every award there is in the industry. And not only did he start joining BNI and be a part of it, but he was just voted president of his local BNI. And when you're president, I don't want to assume anything. It's like being a president of the United States. You can get away with a lot of shit, right? Now everybody's beholden to you. They want to work with you. They want to do this. They want to do that. They want to get your ear, all that kind of stuff. So Ringo is a perfect example of not just participating in BNI, building a 6-figure income just in BNI, which I believe Mr. Brunasso has done as well. A 6-figure income from one division of their company. Remember, you're the CEO of your own renewable energy company. We're a platform, right? So you got to look at your business. Do you have a division of your company devoted to this? Trade shows like Craig Bloom and Emmett. Do you have a division of your company like Ringo for BNI? Do you have your division of your company for social media? And when I say division, remember, I've got 7,000 reps. I've never had an assistant in Powur. There's no one that I dish anything off to. So if you're busy, I get it. If you work out, I get it. If you got family, I get it. You got prayer, I get it, right? I get it. The question is, are you want to do these things? Yeah, Jonathan.
And I think to that point, to your question, one of the best things about Powur is that we're our own boss, we're our own manager, we're our own freedom. You know, one of the hardest things, one of the worst things about that is we're our own boss, we're our own calendar, we're our own manager. And that is the disconnect. A lot of people are programmed for a W-2 job, tell me what to do, but to get out there and structure your day and be your own boss, it's a different beast. And we need to continue to teach
something on that real quick, Jonathan. Remember, most people come from one or two environments. Corporate America, which is a work processing environment, right? You are giving an assignment to do, whether you're vice president, sales manager, division manager, local sales rep, whatever. You are giving a task to perform. In the entrepreneur world, it's a work creation environment. So you're going from assignment of a duty to a task to perform to now in your spare time, you know, whatever it is you're doing, to start thinking about every day. What can I do? You, me, in the mirror. What can we do? What can you do to move your business forward? Work processing versus work creation.
100%. All right. A couple more things here, everyone. And if you can relate to some of these, put it in the chat. At Sunrun, my own self-generated deals were getting disqualified because all the shingle roofs were not good quality. They would kick the granules off the roof and then say, sorry, your $2,000 commission is now disqualified. And I lost deals, poor customer service and months of delays. They had the highest price in the industry, guys, Sunrun, Costco, highest priced. If someone shopped me, I couldn't do anything. I didn't have options. I had disqualified jobs. They didn't do ground mounts. They didn't do clay tile. I literally had I don't think I've shared this before. I literally had a panic attack at Panera Bread with my manager doing a pipeline review because of the delays and the issues and my ambassadors never getting their payouts. And I was making $100, $150 a kilowatt, guys, on a 10 kilowatt deal. What is that? $1,000, $1,500? And we want to be here at Powur pumping our fists and stomping on the ground and complaining. Like, this was the shit that a lot of us had to go through to get to this opportunity that I get to bring my brother into and I get to bring my friends into now. And so we just have to remind ourselves. And to your point, Bobby, you know, here I am at a Chamber of Commerce where I'm deadly nervous to speak. And this was 2018, guys, 2019. And this guy right here, Murtaza, he's the one that forced me to go to his BNI because he was the president. And I was introduced to BNI at this chamber event, but I wasn't public speaking. I was nervous to introduce myself. Like, my heart rate was throbbing in my throat just in 2018. But you have to get out and go do these activities. Trust me, the more you have that feeling, the more you need to head into it. And I wish I knew that more back then. And here's Murtaza with the highest performing BNI group with 40 individuals. And guess who was the solar guy that closed 13 deals in his second year at this BNI? And it's tough as shit to get up every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. to drive to this 7 a.m. stupid BNI every Wednesday morning, guys. But I made myself do it. One deal will pay for 2 years of membership. And you'll work on your public speaking and training and make forever friends and recruit the roofer and get some ambassadors. And boy, you'll get a top sales rep like Eric Goldstein got this gentleman, Justin, who sold 30 deals in a month, all because of Eric going to BNI. And if you need activities, everywhere I would pass out flyers and I was nervous doing it. Boy, I hated door knocking. Even around my own installations, I hated it. Sometimes I would just leave the flyer because I was so nervous to door knock, but I made myself do it over years and years and years. And it's been 7 to 8 years of these activities for me.
So it's not always fun.
Most of the time it is not fun. And here it is, Bobby. Check this out. March of 2019. Bobby Smith, everyone. Are you open to higher profits and a better system for solar sales? Already have other options. Enjoy where I'm at. Thanks, though. Thumbs up. March 2nd. Do you think Bobby messaged me a second time? Everyone, put it in the chat. Do you think he kept messaging me and harassing me and giving me love after this? Let's find out. March 17th. FYI, I'm building an EXP model for solar. What was that? 15 days? He was flirting with me. I had the same idea. I think it's great.
He didn't tell me he was going to do this, people, by the way. This is how we roll.
This is what I didn't. I showed this in Texas last year. I spent $5 million to figure it out. Are you open? I'm open to hearing about it or watching a video. I've sold. I think I've heard of Powur before. And the rest is history. All because Bobby sent me a second freaking message, guys. And now I'm here. And this just is a testament to Ed Milet teaches on this. One more message, one more event, one more BNI, one more realtor that joins your team, one more ambassador, one more Robin Mansell, one more JC. You never know when you send one more message.
Yeah,
I want to share.
I was still refining my messaging back then. That was in the early days. But remember, here's the point, though. Remember, I'm not a rep. You find one Jonathan Brunasso, and we can debate how many Jonathan Brunassos there are in the world. That's a conversation for another day. Let's say a half a Jonathan Brunasso. One person can add 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month to your bank account.
Yep.
And that's how I treat every person on LinkedIn. The last thing I'll say before Jonathan moves on, is that my flip-flops? Is follow-up. It looks like me there. Is follow-up. Remember, it's the key. Folks, again, I brought on a guy this week who's doing 60, I think, installations a month. I've been after him for 2.5 years. 2.5 years on LinkedIn. So how do you treat your go-backs? Are you tracking it? Are you going back to things? No doesn't mean no. It takes maybe just not right now. Something else that has to happen in their life. A boss acts like an asshole. Their division shuts down, like Sunrun's, cutting commissions, pulling out of marketplaces, just like other solar companies are doing, right? You just don't know when that magical moment is that you can catch somebody that can literally change the course of their life and the course of your life. So that persistence, that key, that I didn't push them. We were just engaging in conversation. That's all. And I think that is my flip-flops there on the left. So anyway, go ahead, brother.
There's a lot you just shared. I want to share one quick story, everyone. I was at the Nectar smoothie shop in Vegas the other day, and there was 3 business cards. You know how they have the business card wall, or they're on the desk, right, in the Starbucks? There was 3 realtor cards and 1 solar card. What do we do? Put in the chat. What do we do when we see some realtor cards and a solar person business card out and about? We frickin' text them. Are you open-minded to checking out another income option? Are you open-minded to having a solar referral partner in 25 states? Are you open-minded to earning thousands per referral? I'd love to connect with you. I wonder what your favorite smoothie is at that Nectar that I got your card from. Do you think they responded the first time I texted them? No. I waited 3 days, then I texted them again, and I just do this for shits and giggles. But this is what I do, and this is what you all should do. And okay, let's go on. And the follow-up piece, guys, Paul Leone took 9 months. He's the number 2 personal sales on the entire Powur platform. He took 9 months of follow-up. Cynthia took 8-9 months of follow-up. She didn't even want to join. She gave me a job or 2 to install, and then I'm like, Cynthia, I just made $6 grand.
Oh, folks, I hope you're hearing this. It's a very, very powerful thing. It just doesn't usually happen like that.
The best ones do not.
They don't, because if they're that good, they're normally not going to be gotten that easy, right? It's like dating, guys, right? We've all been there, right, Susan? All right, if you and you don't want to push, right? Because if what you got is so damn good, why do you need me so damn bad?
Yeah.
Right. So there's a very thin line here of posture. We talk about this all the time, language and posture and follow-up, and just understanding that if you're not getting that person immediately, good. Some of you may take that as a negative thing or an insult or a personal, thing on your character or your whatever it is. It's not. It's just phase one. It's step one. That's where it begins. Plan on 3 to 6 months to recruit a stud.
You gotta drip on them. You know what changed for Paul Leon when we introduced the 30-year warranty? Before Powur Care, Solar Insure, same thing. He's like, oh wow, I can give my clients that. Okay, I'm gonna pay attention to you guys now. We changed his life forever, and his family and his kids' lives,
And that's a great point, Jonathan.
Because I dripped on him. Yeah.
It's why now. Remember, you're always going back to that person. If you got a list, and if you're good at this stuff, you're keeping a list of everybody you've ever approached. And then when Franklin gets introduced, or a new financing option, or a panel reduction, or whatever it might be, an Inc. 100 story, that's when you go back to them with a new story, because that might be the day where their boss pissed them off, or they didn't get their full commission, or their company changed policies, or whatever. That's the moment when you get them. And you got to know what to do with them. Bring them and get them on the phone with the Brunasso. Get them on the phone with this one. Get them on the phone with that one. Bring them to a Monday night, and to do it the right way. And all those tools for the new people, again, are in your knowledge base.
1000%. All right, a few more slides here. So here I am, still at Sunrun at a Powur event. That's how I was making my transition. And I'm being made fun of in the room by Jim Bunch or somebody because I'm the Sunrun guy. And I saw the EXP Realty vision, like that gentleman the other night, God, what's Aaron Browning said, I know how this story ends. I know how this movie ends. And I saw the vision. So here I am driving down. I think I picked up Bobby. And so even May 6th of 2020, Bobby goes, you might want to update your profile at the appropriate time and separate yourself. I'm like, yep, I have 4 more installs at Sunrun before I quit on May 18th of 2020. And then things will change. And Bobby said, exactly.
There you go.
And guys, I'm moving my camera around here. Let's kind of bring it forward to today here. So in 3 to 4 years, I've literally changed my life forever and multiple people's lives. I was at San Francisco headquarters for an awards event in 2020, Q1 of 2020. And if you saw the last text from Bobby, it was, I quit in May. So I knew as I was shaking hands with the CEO of Sunrun that I was going to quit. And I went to this awards ceremony in San Fran, and guess what I was doing? I was networking with all the other top income earners at Sunrun, getting their phone numbers because I knew I wanted to stay in touch with them when I made the leave. So I put in my 3-week notice in May of 2020, and I quit Sunrun. You all know it was the scariest decision I made. I told myself, guys, if I just sold 1 deal at Powur a month, I'd be fine. And someone would always take me back. That was my bar. If I just sold one, BNI or whatever it was. And I was always W-2 my whole life with benefits and, perks, this false sense of security, when really we know any company they'll screw you over and fire you. And so I was making 170 to 230 a year combined income that year when I quit. To go to Powur and make the move. And here we are in COVID, wearing dumb masks at this headquarters that was just built. This was the first time I spoke on stage, the first time I think the stage was ever used. And I was outside rehearsing my lines, doing laps. I was nervous. I got up there. It was a blur. I blacked out. I said a few things and I walked off, and boy, was it the hardest time. But just like anything, if you do it 30 times, you're fine. If you go to BNI 20 times, 30 times, if you knock doors 30 times, you're fine. Come back and tell me if you're nervous.
And Jonathan, I got to stop you for 1 second. Again, for the folks that are new here, and again, everybody's clear on the challenges that Powur's had scaling to be the fastest growing solar company in the world the last 4 years. That's behind us. We're looking forward. Every time there's been a challenge to the industry or to our company, We've solved it. When COVID hit, we didn't run and hide like all these other companies. They didn't know what the hell to do. We invested $1 million in cash into a CNN-like media studio. That's how I refer to it when I'm pitching people on Powur. We built $1 million CNN-like media studio. Jonathan Budd refers it as his man cave, but it is a media studio, right? So we responded to the challenge. When M1 commissions went away and the industry's running and hiding, they didn't know what to do, we created a plan. And people MF'd us for that plan. How can you charge interest? Really? So you want free money. You want us to give out 1,000 M1s a month for free, right? So you can't please, all the people all the time. But the key to some of you, I hope you're all listening to this, is because every step of the way, and the people that have been with us know, have we screwed up? Yes. If we had a crystal ball, we could have done it differently, not grown as fast. Would we have? I don't know. Maybe. If we didn't do what we were doing, Brunasso might not be here. If we didn't do what we were doing, maybe you might not be here. So I can't cry over the fact that we have changed the lives of so many people. All we can do as a group, with Hawaii on fire, and as I started this conversation, is just keep on keeping on and keep on innovating. And the whining and the complaining and the bitching and the noise, that just falls into a bucket somewhere, right?
Yep.
It's the inner courage and the inner strength and the absolute, if you don't get this, then you shouldn't be empowered. Whatever challenge there is, we will solve it. And right now, the challenge we're solving is operational excellence. We're saying no to 90% of the things that people are coming to us with. Remember, they come to us with things every day. A roofing convention, Latino convention, they're all great things. They're all great ideas. We got a national convention coming up in 3 weeks. The point is, what other solar companies do you know that have $1 million CNN-like media studio with a complete kombucha bar, meditation room, and workout center?
And doing a convention at the Lowe's on Coronado Island. I mean, my goodness.
We'll get there. That's where we're going to end here, right?
And a lot of people need to vent. They need to be heard. They need to commiserate with. I met with Chris Bunch this week. I met with Ethan Miller, guys, the COO, for 60 minutes. Because like Bobby said, I'm always pushing Powur to do better. And we all handle stress in different ways. And I had to be coached by Charles and Bobby. And now I help coach others. And I continually have to coach myself. I type an email. I send it to Rick Joseph and Tom Cotter and Chris. And I go, guys, can you proofread this before I send it? I typed it at 9 p.m. I'm not even drinking for the last 2 months. That's part of my discipline. And it still had a little bit too much emotion in it. So they coach me. I coach others to do this. Tone down the emotions, stick to the facts, take away the feelings. And right here, we all handle stress in different ways. But is it worth it? Is helping homeowners and fellow consultants and the planet worth it? It may not be for you, the level of stress. You might want to be checking bags at a grocery store making minimum wage. But if you want to get paid for the size of the problems you solve, is creating a retirement and a generational wealth worth it? Get a little bit intimate here. My grandparents came here from Mexico, and my dad's parents came here from Italy, and it was hard as crap for them. But was it worth it to go through that stress? My parents, at the age of 21, had my brother and I, and barely were able to afford to paying for private school, Catholic private school for their twins in their 20s, working their butts off. But was it worth it? Was the stress worth it? The goal, the journey worth it? And here we are in the first year or two at Powur in Charles's house doing masterminds during COVID, bringing some of the people together here. You can see Paul Leon and Anthony Bonilla, Lorenzo, Jarrett, Wally, Marisa, Cynthia, JC. And that's what's amazing here. We can literally bring some of our friends and family along with us and have fulfillment. You don't get that other places. And then I got 1 or 2 more slides here, but now I get to do philanthropic activities. We build homes in Mexico. We donate, on Skid Row in LA. Here I am with my friends and family and my team hiking. Here we are at Salt Lake City SolarCon, or here we are having dinner. And you know, the awards ceremony last year was amazing. So we have to be at the convention and gala this year. And big shout out, you know, of course, to Bobby, but even Jonathan Budd has been coaching me through some of these emotions and stress and feelings lately. And I'm going to be interviewing him live Tuesday, 10 a.m. next week on the vision and platform and scale in a decentralized model that's never been done before. In 3 years, we're going to do 400 million this year. It's never been done. In 3 years, we did this. Of course, there's going to be growth pains and challenges. And if our operations, guys, just gets 20 to 30% better, this rocket ship is taking the heck off.
But let me add something to that too, Jonathan. Great point. And remember, Jonathan's made us better. He's the one that led us to building the homes in Mexico. He's given more back than you could ever imagine. But remember, so Jonathan just said, if we can get better operationally 20 to 30%, okay, yeah, I accept that, right? But what about us? What about the mirror, folks? Again, here's the mirror. The reason we started market development, the reason I started market development is because still there is 20, 30% minimum of projects that are being sold wrong on the front end. And when you sell a project wrong on the front end, you are backing up our entire ecosystem. Project managers are dealing with deals that shouldn't be sold. And remember what some of you may know or you may not know, and you know we're completely transparent. We have to suspend people from the platform because of the way they sell. We have to terminate people from the platform because of the way they sell. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines because of good people, wonderful people, selling the wrong way. Jonathan knows these situations. The hits that we take, the battles that we fight for you behind the scenes, you'll never know. But the point is, yes, we need to get 20 to 30% operationally better, and we are. But the other point is, you all, we all, you need to get 20 to 30% better on the front end, and you can't do that if you're not on your local market development Zoom. You're just not. If you have a full-time job and you can't get there, you know, I get it. There's recordings and all that kind of stuff. But if you can block it out without the bullshit. My appointment ran over. Of course your appointment ran over. They all do. I got in traffic. Of course you got in traffic. You live in California, right? It should be in every single person on this Zoom's calendar, their local market development Zoom, if you are serious about your craft. Yeah. If you're not, again, God bless, you don't work for me, right? This ain't corporate America, right? But the point is, we all need to collectively get better. And it's both sides, and that's important.
Can't agree more, especially with our model, letting people sell on their own very quickly. They don't know how to address underlayment or electrical. They don't know that the batteries can take 3 months extra, or and then they're going to react instead of respond. And we just have to, guys, push the needle more to the middle. So I'll hit on that in a second, but I just want to share with you. And again, this is not to impress you at all. It's just what can be done in 3 to 4 short years. Multi-million net worth, multiple $1-million earner at Powur, lifetime, over 7 figures annually. When I used to hear Bobby say Charles would make 7 figures like 2 years ago, I thought it was BS. I was like, that's so out of reach.
Those are my initials, you know, so be careful, right?
That makes sense. I just honestly didn't believe it, guys. And it happened last year for me. I mean, it's nuts. The first million is hard. The second million is easy. It comes quicker. And the third million is right around the corner, but it's not about making the money. It's who you have to become in order to achieve that.
Here.
It's how many people you have to help. If you want to make $1 million, you could probably do it, you know, on your own. You know what they say, you can go fast on your own. If you want to go far, you do it with your community and your people. And we're going far right now, right? The second million was a fraction of the time. And it's not about the money. It's about who I had to become. This leadership role you saw me tossed into on this journey here of going by myself to now doing everything for my team. It wasn't like, it was just something I went into and was put into, and now I love it. But I had to become that in order to get the second million and the third million right around the corner. And I think part of the reason I'm the second highest earner after Charles is I'm going to brag a little bit, is because I'm the only person that's the top 10 in all 3 categories at Powur. I'm actually top 5. Number 1 personal sales all time, number 4 recruiter all time, number 4 mentor all time.
Sure.
I know. And personal sales and mentor sales, guys, I have about 450 sales with Powur. Let that sink in for a second. If you've got, 10 jobs and 3 are a nightmare, just multiply that stress by 10 times. Like, imagine how many customers hit me like unhappy. Imagine how many O&M repair issues I get hit with weekly right now. Like, and then imagine some of the teammates that I have to help coach and hold their hand and lose a lot to other people because they think they can go bounce around at these small companies. And it's just part of the game. And so leadership mentality, I think Jonathan Budd says this, we must fail our way to the top. Like I said earlier, every challenge and stress is a gift. If I look back at when I was an EXP realtor and I didn't make it, I had to leave real estate. Well, now it's a gift because I made the networks and connections and I'm bringing them to Powur. I saw the EXP model and now I get to execute that up Powur. So through every heartache and loss and grief and panic attack that I had, it's a lesson. It's a lesson of enlightenment on this path. It's the very gift of the human experience, right? If you could design the perfect life and dream it in one night, would it be perfect, or would it have ups and downs and challenges and excitement and crazy things and loss and new love? It would be that. And if you can change your perspective and your mentality, which is a struggle for me every single day, but I'm on that path. And you have coaches and mentors and friends to commiserate with and vent with, and you have disciplines. I can't tell you how much my brother and I have had to have breath work in our life the last 3-4 years, and sleep and cold showers. A lot of us wear these Oura rings to track our sleep. And I haven't drank for 2 months because I want my health, my body, and my business to be in the best shape ever right now. And that's why I chose to make that choice. And so cold showers, health, food, nature, you have to have these things intact. And you have to learn how to respond versus react, right? You need to have someone read your emails or check yourself, or don't respond in the moment. Don't. With these texts and these email generations that we're in, respond in later that night, respond the next morning. Don't respond in the moment. And ask yourself always, are you the leader that you would want to work for? Danny Pesci said this on our Tuesday training that's recorded on my YouTube. Would you want to be led by yourself? Are you demonstrating the emotional intelligence, the communication, and the leadership, and, responding? Would you want to work for yourself? You always want to keep that in mind. So I have 2 next events. Bobby's trained me well. Everything Bobby says, I had this thought, Bobby. I had this thought, like, guys, Bobby is like a parent growing up for the first 18 years, right? Eat your broccoli, go out and play, do this. And it's like in the moment, you're like, shut up, Bobby. But then like when you turn 25, you're like, all those things my parents taught me, they made sense. They make my life better. And guys, Bobby, as much as we're like, roll our eyes, or he keeps saying this, look at my next slide. Always talk about the next event. Look for the donut. Don't look for the hole. So everyone can relate with me when I'm saying this, but everything Bobby preaches and helps us with, and relentlessly, tirelessly, I mean, he's the reason why I'm here, and a lot of us are here. And so I'll say these next events real quick, Bobby, unless you wanted to say something else first, but
Music,
all right.
Music to my ears.
Next events, guys, as we wrap up these next 9 minutes, maybe type some questions in the chat if you want. Let me know if you're getting any nuggets so far. On Monday, there is the Renewable Rebellion Roundtable. It's 1 p.m. Pacific. It's a little bit California focused, but this is an opportunity to invite any solar professional, entrepreneur, salesperson, people you've been dripping on to this. I literally texted this to a guy at Palmetto and another guy. You know, since I'll be there, I even invited one down to headquarters. If you got a big person, you can maybe get your leadership, get him into headquarters. But I'm sending this to people I've been dripping on because it's an amazing lineup. I mean, Ryan Harris was the VP of Sunrun when I was there at San Francisco. I can't wait to shake his hand and say, hey, good to see you again. You're the CRO of SPAN now. And Julia, VP Public Affairs. So this is an amazing event for 2 hours on Monday. You should be attending into. It's going to be epic. And then 2 more events next week. And then obviously Powur convention as well. But mark your calendars for Tuesday, 10 a.m. next week after that roundtable. I will be interviewing Jonathan Budd live. This is also on Powur calendar. You can see the Powur Hitters, Solar Warrior Tribe, team training. Everyone's welcome to every Tuesday, 10 a.m. But next week, something special. I'll be interviewing Jonathan Budd live on similar topics like we touched on today, but on a much grander scale of creating an Inc. 43 company in a decentralized model and what those growth pains look like and the vision of where we're going and why he's doing it. And again, it's more for me because with the amount of jobs I have and some of the stresses, like we all need to hear these things again and again and realize that people don't leave companies, they leave leadership. People don't leave companies. I'm sorry, I'm saying that backwards. Yeah, that's right. People don't leave companies, they leave leadership and management. And my point in saying that is we have the best leadership here. We have the best team. We have the best executives. You know, if you don't think that Powur is going to evolve and change every other month, you know, I don't know why you're here. And so my point is between the vision and the executives and this decentralized model and who we get to look up to, like we're in the right place. And lastly, on Wednesday, August 16th, and some of you may want to take a note from this page, I'm doing an in-person event. It's called Side Hustle, 6-figure side hustle, profit from your solar referrals. We're doing it from 10 to 12:30. We're showing the real estate, mortgage, financial, insurance industries how they can profit from their solar referrals easily by bolting on solar or hitting their base. We have a panel. It's only in person, guys. So you can go to mysolarbusiness.com if you're going to attend in person or you're trying to get someone you know in Southern California there. When I was you 3 years ago, I would see an event like this. I would text my real estate mortgage friends in SoCal. Hey, can you make this? This is amazing. You got to check this out. We got realtors making 90 grand last year. We know that mortgage is down. That's what I was doing 3 years ago. So you better go to mysolarbusiness.com and text every single freaking human you know in Southern California that can get the butts in that seat. All right, Bobby, that's all I got today.
It's a lot. So first of all, let's give it up for Jonathan, right? Chat bar. He makes us all better, you know, every single day. When he was talking about failing, there's a book, there's actually a thing called Failing Forward. You know, every time you fall flat on your face, you're 5 foot some odd inches getting closer to where you want to go. Right. So the more punches you take, the more you get hit.